We're back with She the People. We've got Andy here again. We're going to talk about current events and a story that I want to just tell, which is like a little funny and like it made me realize I think sometimes you might know something is a way, but you can't pinpoint exactly what it is that bothers you about it. And sometimes I feel that's what underlying misogyny is. You know, there's something there, but you can't put your finger on it exactly. So hi, Andy.
Hi, I'm listening. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I know this feeling." Mhm. Mm.
I've had a rat problem at my house for a while. They were coming into the house and I kind of put up with it because they exist, right? Rodents exist. And this is an old home and there's just a lot of places for them to be. Not in my house, but like around it. And so I knew where they were because I could hear them. Initially, I thought they were mice, but then someone said, "Mice are quiet." I said, "Well, then they're not mice because they're not quiet." And I could hear them all in so many places, but specifically, they were definitely living under my dishwasher and kind of in that space. That's where I could hear them a lot. And they're coming into the house. So they're coming into the kitchen, leaving
Getting
droppings.
getting bold.
And then it started happening a lot. So I told my landlord, he had a guy come. It didn't work. So I called him again. I said, "Hey, it's actually pretty bad." And so he's like, "Okay, time to get the big guns in there." So they came out and I kept telling him, "They're under the dishwasher. And I need someone because I can't get it out by myself. I need someone to help me pull the dishwasher out so I can clean up that area because it started to really smell and like close up all the holes." They chewed through the refrigerator wires. So he had to buy me a new refrigerator. The first guy comes, they do the assessment. The second guy comes, he comes to close up all the holes and set the traps. I tell him, and I had told the first guy about the dishwasher. And he goes, "I think this will be good enough. I think like, it's good. I did it. It's good." All right, don't listen to me. That's fine.
Yeah, I can see where this is going. Yeah.
Yeah, classic, not
Yeah.
listening to women. So, although very nice, they were all very nice. And he spent a lot of time closing up holes. But guess what? They're back. And they had caught a couple, but I called him back and they were going to charge again. And I told him what happened. I said, "Look, it was a woman actually that I signed to." I told both people that came here that they're in the dishwasher and that's where they're also getting into my house from. I could tell the way that they come in is somehow there's holes behind the dishwasher and I can hear them under there and I can tell where their droppings are and how there's a cabinet next to the dishwasher and they push things out in there. So I knew exactly this is how they're getting in. There's no other way for them to get in but this way. And it's behind the dishwasher.
Because
So,
I have eyes and ears.
and
That's
I've
not a
got an
gender
eight.
thing.
So she sends this other guy out, this Hispanic guy, and he brings his tools in. And I go, "They're behind the dishwasher and they're in there and I can hear him." And he's, "Okay, let's get the dishwasher out." And then it just was immediately, we're on a team and we're equal. And he believed me. I was helping him. He's like, "Yeah, get it under there. Get it under there. You're going to pull and I'm going to pull at the same time." And things would get stuck and I'd go get a tool I got a knife. This'll work. And he's just,
I've seen your toolkit. You have one.
and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, get that, get that."
Yeah.
He never second guessed me the entire time that we were working together. And we just were encouraging each other and we pulled it out. Sure enough, there were droppings everywhere. They were literally living under the dishwasher, like in the dishwasher. You could see the nest in there.
Yep.
There were holes all throughout. He's like, "I didn't really see anything in there." And I was like, "There's one right there. You got to close that hole up." And he's like, "Okay, I'll close the hole up." There's another one. And then he said, "I'm going to go look outside too." And then he went outside. He's like, "There's a big hole out here. The guy didn't even close this hole." His English was limited, but we understood each other. And he came back in to like show me the whole time. And I was just thinking, this is what it feels like to be heard and listened to and accepted as an equal. And just
Mhm.
this small interaction with this that he once questioned he every tool I pulled out, he was 100% for it. And we were like on the same team getting the job done.
He's like, "You're the person that lives in this house. I'll listen to you."
Yeah. And I believe in your strength to help me pull this out.
Well, it's just like the automatic assumption that women aren't gonna know or as much as you or be able to do certain things. That's just that prejudgment annoys the shit out of me
Everywhere. And this is
everywhere.
my ex. Everyone loved him. But this was really my biggest thing with him is that I was always being questioned. My
Yeah.
abilities were constantly being questioned in a way that now I can look back on it. And especially having this experience, I just was like, that's it. That's it. I
That's
never felt that acceptance and belief from him that
yeah.
qualities were equal, if not more. And he could say it as much as he wanted because he would, but he didn't act that way. He never really believed in me. I mean, we put in 2 paver patios and he'd never done one before. And because I did it by myself at a house I was living. I put in a whole paver patio by myself. And just every step of the way, I was being questioned to the
Mhm.
point I finally had to say, go the fuck away. I can't fucking tolerate you anymore. I said, do you know what you're doing? No. Well, then why the fuck are you questioning me at every step of the way?
Yeah. And that's just something that we have to deal with constantly, which I think sometimes men don't grasp because it
Oh,
doesn't happen to them. So it's like everywhere we go. Yeah. And I mean, even like a very, like, the least misogynistic man, I think, but there are times he's a manager, right? Like he's a
yeah.
boss at work. So he'll come home and I have to say, there are times I have to be like, bro, you're not my manager. Shut it off. I keep the fire going all day. Like, I keep a human alive. Okay. Multiple. I run shit around here.
You know how to do a lot of stuff that you know how to fish. You know how to fly fish. You know how
I
to
mean,
you know how to drive a motorcycle, ride on a motorcycle. Probably
I
more
would
than a lot of men.
I would be the hunter. He would probably be the gatherer.
Yeah.
He's
And
really
yeah,
organized. Yeah, he's organized. Like he would be good at organizing stuff, but I have skills that there are men that just assume I don't have. And I remember one time we were meeting up some of his friends and I started talking about fishing and I was talking about spay fishing for steelhead and stuff and the guy was like, "Wait, you know how to spay fish?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "But you're like this like cute girl and like, I've also pushed a human out of my vagina. What do you think about that? Is that
yeah,
impressive? Like, it's just sometimes it's so annoying.
that's the thing is that it's just so annoying. Just the question. I just said I know how to do it. And now you had to second guess me. It's just the constant second guessing. I know a lot about football. I know more than most men about football. I know a lot about football. And I have for a good part of my life because I've been watching football as a young person with my dad. And it does not matter to this day who I'm watching it with, where I am. I'll be like, oh, interference. I don't know. And then they go, interference.
Yeah.
You know,
The amount of times,
or I mean, just I'll go somewhere to watch a game. I'm with a guy. They're going to talk to him no matter what about the game. He'll even say, "I don't actually know that much. She knows a lot more than I do." I express how much more I do know because I like to talk about football when I'm watching it. They'll still talk to him. It's like
yep.
they can't accept it.
I have a really good example of that too. I was fishing um right up from our house. I was fishing with Aaron and our friend Dave. And we were all in our waders. We were all in our gear. I was holding my fly rod. Like they were walking like, 20 paces ahead of me, 30 paces ahead of me. Like they were ahead of me. And this truck drove straight by me and stopped next to the two dudes and was like, how's the fishing? And I was the only person that had caught anything. I was like, what the fuck? I catch probably, and I don't want to say this to sound like that girl, but I catch more than Aaron does when we go fishing. Usually that's because he's on the oar, but still it's like I know what I'm doing, and that just automatic, that pissed me off so bad. I
is
still am like obviously angry about it. And then they call us angry or they call us like sensitive, but it happens all the time. Wouldn't you be annoyed and pissed off and then triggered kind of easily if it happened 24/7? And there's a lot of shit that I don't know, right? That Aaron knows how to do that I don't know how to do, but that's also vice versa.
There's also
And
a lot of things that I'm annoyed that I wasn't taught because I'm a girl. I would have loved if my dad taught me to be a woodworker. I would have loved it. Couldn't you see me making furniture?
totally,
Like,
it's in your blood.
it's in my blood. And
Yeah.
no one taught it to me. And that's what happens. We just put people in roles automatically. We assume men are going to be the best fighters. Is that true? We are sensitive and we are caring, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're not good fighters or that I wouldn't take a Nazi into the woods and shoot him in the head.
Yeah. Well, we're just shooting people in the head nowadays. So there's that.
Yeah. But that
But
was one of the woman in World War II. She would lure Nazis into the woods because she was beautiful, like with the idea that they were going to get a little and she'd shoot
yeah,
in the head and leave them. And she killed
I,
a bunch of Nazis.
I know. Stop acting. There are certain things that make us weak because it could be our biggest strength. It's like, it's so weird and I think that there's a lot of times that like men tend to make more assumptions just right out of the gate. And there's women that do that too about men. But when I talk about misogyny and stuff like that, I don't think it's all men.
No.
That's the problem you get with social media. That's one of the biggest problems. It's like you can say something and then there's 50 remarks. If you're not like that, then step aside, dude. We're not talking about you. Yeah.
Not all men, but
There's enough for it to be a problem for us.
and we're talking about underlying misogyny, which is annoying, but we're just seeing such an uptick in violence against women right now and women's rights. And we were over here just fighting for underlying like misogyny to stop that. And now it's just this enormous violence against women.
I know. I wish we could make men understand, like by using like bees. You know what I mean? Like let the bee sting a man once and then they'll be like, oh, like I didn't like that, but like it's one bee sting. But okay, let's let 1,000 sting you. Cause that's what it feels like all the time. It's not just one, it is over and over and over again. So that's why we're pissed, dude. That's why we don't really like the bees that much. We need them. They're important. But like if it happens all the time, it starts to kind of piss you off a little bit. That's the issue.
And you stop going around bees and you avoid.
You avoid it and then you put up some traps and then you realize, that it's not a fun space. I'm not going to be a beekeeper after that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's to me, that's what it feels like. It might be a dumb analogy, but it's like,
I think that's a great analogy.
I mean, it's just like, dude, stop doing that. Let's just cohabitate. Can you understand me and I can understand you? And like show the bees respect. Be respectful of each other's.
Show the beekeepers your respect.
Yeah. Respect
We're
each
the
other's
beekeepers.
space. Realize that you're doing things for each other. It's like, and that's where the blame, like we talked about last time, like the blame thing happening. I'm just like, stop blaming women for all your problems.
I know I don't go around blaming men for my problems. I mean, only the fact that they inflict violence upon me. I do blame them for that.
Yeah. Well, there's certain situations that they are to blame, but not the whole group. We don't have to lump you in together. I know there's good men out there.
Yeah.
But there are also men that take liberties with women because they think they can and that it's their right. And so I think the big thing is stand up to those assholes. If you don't want to be lumped in, maybe say a little recognition goes a long way with women. Like you say, we see it, we're not okay with it. That's it for me. Then I'm like, cool, we're
You're on
cool.
our side.
Yeah, I love that. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's accountability, recognition, And just if I saw some shit going down, against men, I would stick up for them and I would stand up to it.
100%. If I saw someone doing something totally inappropriate or against men, I would absolutely stand up.
But
They
we are
rarely stand up for us, though. I mean, they may think they do a lot because maybe they're one of those men that do, but in my experience, they rarely stand up for us. The
it's
one
really sad when you find somebody that does and you're like, "Holy shit, like this is amazing." That kind of says it all.
I can remember times when I felt, and I can count them on one hand, when I felt incredibly like a man was standing up for me. Whether
And it's probably not happened that often.
no, I can literally count on one hand.
Oh,
How many
count on one
times
hand.
I've really yeah.
I have mild cold symptom brain. So my ears don't work. But yeah,
I mean, I'm saying stood up in front and to other men and been
yeah,
like, dude, that is not cool. Like,
yeah.
knock it off. That is so not cool. And
I
I
know a
find
lot
out
of times
there's a lot of men. So
yeah, a lot of times it's like a little bit of a group mentality. I mean, it happens a lot when you're younger, especially because it's like nobody wants to say the thing that's going to get them flack. Nobody wants to. Teaching that at a young age is critical. That's how things are going to change for women.
yeah,
You shape younger men into men that have no issue standing up when something's
bro.
happening.
Yeah, I mean, and it happened. I never had sexual harassment. I mean, a little bit here and there in the Air Force, but it was more, I don't know, nuanced. I know other women but that was it to me more as that a lot of that, like, we're all sticking together mentality, even if we're very wrong and in the wrong.
Hmm.
And then I'd have like other men come up later and be like, I thought you were right, but I didn't want to say anything. And I was right.
Everyone should be, but it tends to be a little bit more because they get shit from their buddies and it starts at a young age and then it's just like when does it change, you know?
And in the military, you're talking about rank too. So this
Yeah.
guy, he was a lower rank than the men that were giving shit and being wrong and he didn't want to stand up to him.
Well, we have that's happening on the largest scale possible right now. Who's going to stand up to this piece of shit?
Yeah. This is what one of the things, there's so many things that are so worrisome right now, but I think some of the biggest things are the media consolidation.
Hmm.
So who owns what? And I mean, I know a lot of people I don't think really are paying attention that these corporations are buying up all this media. Like Fox is controlled by the Murdoch family. And these are all Trump supporters. And these are all people that contributed to Trump's bid with millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
From what we can even see, though, we don't know how much they've maybe given to Bitcoin or given, behind that
Right.
like legally they have to disclose is that they've contributed to him.
Millions, millions and millions and millions.
Yeah. And then we have NBC, which is owned by Comcast, and he donated. Brian Roberts donated. Then we have ABC, owned by the Walt Disney Company. Well, we know what happened there, right? They tried to cancel Jimmy Kimmel, and then everybody canceled their Disney subscription.
We did.
Yeah, I know. And it worked. That worked because we all canceled. I mean, they lost like billions of dollars. And I think they try to stay more in the middle and then they're bullied by this administration. And so they're like, okay, because maybe they feel like they don't have a choice. And then the people were like, no,
Yeah,
no.
well, they actually found out what the whole fuck around and find out is, right? They keep bringing that up, but it's like, you did that, we cancel. That's how that works.
And then this is the big one to me. CBS News just recently changed and it's run by David Ellison, son of Larry Ellison, founder of Oracle. He is a staunch Trump supporter, donor, political ally, and they're all being absorbed by Skydance Media. So that's basically our four huge media corporations that are Trump supporters, and they basically own all the media rights. So I don't want to hear any of this, like, it's liberal media. And just to be clear, Liberal media is just like PBS, people that tell the facts, people that actually fact check themselves, people that then will come on and say, hey, we were wrong about this. This is actually what we found to be right.
Yeah.
That's what you're considering liberal media. It's just
Reporting the news.
reporting the actual facts that you don't like because they don't align with whatever
Narrative.
exactly. It's
Yep.
not what we have right now. It is not free press. It's billionaire controlled infrastructure. And just to like hit on something, the new CBS anchor said, this is what he came out and he told the people on the nightly news. We don't need to believe in experts so much anymore. What we need is your perspective. We need the people's perspective. We don't need these experts telling us what they think anymore.
Hey, people too.
I was like,
Yeah.
and this is like
Dangerous shit right there.
so dangerous. And
Uh-huh.
this is our nightly news on a major media outlet. This is CBS Nightly News, and this is our new anchor leading us into fascism. This is what the Nazis did. This is what Hitler
Yeah.
did. This is Hitler 101. This is fascism 101.
Yeah.
And in this, like, not believing in experts, just mind-boggling too what has now happened at Health and Human Services and like, defunding the VA healthcare system, defunding our healthcare system, changing the vaccines. Now we don't need as many. And then like flipping the nutrition.
Pyramid. Yeah.
Great. And it's so annoying as somebody that I am an expert in my field. I've been a nurse for over 15 years and like all these different categories. I now have a doctorate. I've been in healthcare for probably 20 years. I would be considered an expert in my field to healthcare and to science. I have spent 12 years of my life in post high school studies. I got a first degree in molecular and cellular biology. I went back and I got a second degree in nursing. And now I went back and got another degree in psychiatry. I didn't spend all that time, energy, money going into debt to trick people.
Or to be told that you no longer are an expert. You have no
professional.
expert or a professional. And it's so you can't even wrap your brain around it. But I'm like, let's listen to the guy who eats McDonald's for his entire balanced meal and looks like he has jaundice. He shouldn't be telling us about hepatitis B. He has no fucking clue. He looks like he has it.
Sure.
He looks like his liver doesn't function ever.
And then we also want to listen to the guy that did a lot of coke and
Yeah.
didn't finish school, didn't have any kind of scientific background, is not a doctor. I mean, the audacity, and has been being paid by these corporations. I listen to other people talk and they're like, well, doctors are being paid by pharmaceutical companies. And I'll tell you what, I am not being paid by any pharmaceutical companies. I've never been paid by any pharmaceutical companies. And there are ways that, and you have to limit, you can't get money. I couldn't accept any gifts of more than $25 to $50, depending on where I was. That was the limit of gifts. And we're very strict about that because people will come after you. And
Yeah.
so we can't take money from people. And if you do, it has to be disclosed. There is no disclosures that this motherfucker, RFK, he isn't disclosing how much money he is receiving from these companies. And he's actually receiving a lot of money. He is receiving a bunch of money from the Children's Health Defense, which is totally anti-vaxxers. He was receiving $20,000 a month. Is that not a reason to lie? And these people that are like, doctors are taking all this money and all these experts are taking all this money. We are not. The ones that are taking money are telling you that we're taking money.
Yeah.
Guess what? You're being lied to.
Well, that's a classic move. Accuse the other side over and over and over again so that when you do it and they accuse you, you can be like, they're only accusing me because they're doing it. It's just behavior that you can spot pretty easily. It doesn't take But
Another ex-
you don't have to be super smart to understand this kind of behavior. If you've ever been cheated on, you could probably understand this behavior.
it's gaslighting.
It's called gaslighting. And the fact that anybody would listen to RFK, it just feels sorry. I really do feel kind of bad for the group that's like, he knows his shit. Look at him.
Joe Rogan.
God, they're just, ugh.
Oh, that
And like,
guy. He
sounds like he's smoked for 150,000 years.
he has the worst voice and sound making abilities that I've ever heard come out of a human being. I would just have a hard time listening or believing. But he has no formal education about anything he's talking about. And it's so bizarre to me that to me, it's like, look, follow the money. Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't get into this job and this occupation because to make a bunch of money. I didn't. And I've never met anyone that I've worked with that has. And that's doctors and that's nurses and that's across the board. I've never met anyone that's like, I got into this because I'm going to make bank. And they're,
No.
that make a good living, but they didn't get into it because they want to make a ton of money because it's hard fucking work. Being a doctor is hard work. Being ancillary staff, being people that work at hospitals or people that work in clinics, it is really hard work. And if you've ever had a loved one, you have been hospitalized yourself, you know it's hard work.
Well, and you know that the staff there is not going all night and working 15, 20-hour shifts and doing everything they're doing because they're like, ooh, can't wait for that paycheck. They do it because they are taking care of their patients. That's what pushes. That's what motivates to get through those hours, the brutal hours. And we have doctors leaving, Idaho all the time. And a lot of it has to do with we just had a great doctor and his wife's a respiratory therapist, like very good part of our community, like people that contribute huge things to our community. They left because he couldn't even negotiate with the hospital here to help him out a little bit with his student loans. And he left to a place that if he works for 5 years there, they pay all of his student loan debt. They couldn't afford to live here and have these, he had $500,000 in student loan debt. As a doctor, they couldn't afford to stay.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
I know. And people don't realize, we go into massive debt in order to hold these occupations. I came out of all my degrees a total, and I used my GI Bill for this last degree. So a total of all the degrees I have, probably. And this is like the other thing. People are like, we can't forgive student loans. I have a student loan right now at $18,000 at 8% from the government.
Yeah.
Why? How is that possible? That's the problem here, too, is that we come out in massive debt doing something that we got into because we love. And I'll tell you what, the people that didn't get into it, like the people that got into it because they wanted to make money or whatever, they don't last long. They last like a year or two. There's a high rate of attrition for nurses and for doctors that they might make it a year or two and then they are gone because it's hard.
Yeah. Or if they get into it just for the title, ego, that's just, they don't last either. And they end up having malpractice suits. They're like, they're fucking terrible doctors. So I've worked for doctors for over a decade, and I've never worked for a doctor that was under active investigation for taking money and doing all this bullshit that they act like it's everywhere and it's happening all the time. I know there's cases of that happening, but it happens, it's few and far between. And that's what they get investigated for, that, and they get charged for that, and it's going to happen. But it doesn't mean it's do away with doctors and nurses, do away with expertise.
Right. And this is across the board too. People that get into public health, experts across the board, go into debt and get into it because they enjoy it and because they really do want to contribute in a positive way to society. Now, look at the motherfuckers that are saying don't believe experts. Look at their bank accounts. Look who's paying them. Because are these Children's Health Defense? Or oil companies? You don't believe in climate change. Don't believe in climate change. Well, who makes money by you not believing in climate change?
Yeah. But it's getting people to look at that and face it in a real way and acknowledge it. That's the problem because
And have the brain capacity to make up complete and utter lies and like ridiculousness where there's like Democrats that have a pedophile ring in a pizza parlor.
right. Alternate realities they can make. It's like a fucking Minecraft of the United States. Like, go ahead and make your own universe, I guess. Like, but you can't read actual facts and understand that
Put two and
this
two
is
together.
happening. There's the bank statement. Like, it's real, not fabricated. And everything now is like, I heard somebody say that the video of the woman shot in Minneapolis was a AI generated video from the Democrats. And I'm like, dude, this is why like places like Sweden teach kids at a very young age about propaganda. They have classes in school to teach children about fake media and propaganda for this reason, because now we have adults running around here that are complete morons believing whatever suits them.
And Germany is using America
As an
right
example.
now to teach about propaganda. And why do these countries teach about propaganda? Because that's where World War II happened. And
It's happened to them.
it's happened to their generation. They've had to live in the aftermath of World War II. And how did World War II happen? Propaganda, lies. It's like in so many ways, it's so simple. It's just follow the money, follow the power. You're not going to find the money and the power in the majority of experts' pockets. You're just not. There might be a minority, but not the majority, not 85% of us that just work our asses off and go into debt to support our communities. You're not going to look at our bank accounts and be like, oh my God, where are you getting all this money from? Is it oil companies? No, I've never taken a fucking dime from an oil company.
Nor have I. Proud to say. But I mean, like, that's what started this whole shit show circus that we're living in is people sat around and they said, you know, my life sucks. Like, I want to vote for somebody who's not a politician, who has no knowledge about policy, foreign policy, about negotiating, about running a country, about governing, about laws, about infrastructure, about healthcare. I just want somebody who, like, I don't know, started a show, a shitty show.
Who's
And
bankrupted casinos.
who has failed businesses. Like, I think that's the guy I'm going to bet on. That's the horse right there. And all I can say to that is thanks. Thanks a fucking lot.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate you and I don't associate with people like that at this point. I have to cut them out because it's not even about like, you didn't want a politician. We're past that. That made me angry, but now I'm like, this is a complete like war of morals we're in. And I'm not going to be on this that is morally bankrupt. If that gets me shot through my car, I guess it does. But like,
Yeah.
I'd rather die with my fucking dignity intact.
Yeah.
Like, and that's one of my friends who made a post today who's like very non-political. That's what he said. He's like, I guess I'll be the next shooting victim if ICE invades my neighborhood because this is too far. You know, and that's somebody who never says a word, never gets involved, keeps opinions off of the internet. And it's like, we're at that time. You may not say like, I'm not getting involved in politics. That's not about politics.
No.
It's just, it's frustrating, but I'm at the point now where I've made a post that's like, if you support this or excuse it in any way, please unfriend me. Please unfollow me. Please never look in my direction again. Because I can't hold space for those kind of humans. Like, I just can't.
And if you have to keep making excuses for someone, I mean, you think about your own life and you have someone in your life and you're constantly like, oh, well, they had like a really hard day. You know, she just went through this thing. If you're constantly making shit up and making excuses for someone, are you keeping that person in your life? I mean, this is not the right. They're constantly backtracking what they've already said they're constantly being incredibly hypocritical. They're constantly saying one thing and then doing it. They're constantly making excuses. Let's just do Venezuela. My God. If you now are like, he was a really bad guy and we had to go in there. No, that is not our job. That is never our job. That is not America's job. We've done it many, many times before. It never works out and it's not our job. He went in there because he wants to make money from it. And
It's for oil. He said it on camera. Even Lindsey Graham, who was trying to make an excuse for him yet again.
Yeah.
In real time, Lindsey Graham's trying to make an excuse like, it's okay because, he's a really bad guy and the people are liberated and they're happy. And he's like, well, we want their oil. Trump he just says it out loud. And two things can be true at once. We've said this multiple times, right? It's like, can there be terrible leadership and the people of a country are unhappy? Yes. But like, you don't just go in there because you want to take their fucking oil. We have a look in the past. It's not that far behind us. You can see
Afghanistan,
Iraq. Like, pay attention.
Vietnam, Iran, Chile, the Congo. Here are all examples. And it's like never works out. We end up killing our soldiers. And this is the thing.
Killing innocent people in another country.
But he doesn't give a shit about you, about any of us. He does not care. He does not care about any of us. He especially doesn't care about his soldiers. We're like his little playthings. He's just wants to go take over the whole world. He doesn't give a shit about anyone in the military, does not give a shit. And we're just like his little pieces that he gets to move around a board and knock over because that guy died. That guy is a soldier that had a family. Okay, yep. He's putting soldiers in danger, giving them PTSD because what they're doing is wrong. And like Darth Vader didn't come out okay. Hitler didn't come out okay. Hunger Games, Snow, killed. It doesn't end well for the fascist authoritarian dictator ever. Doesn't end well.
They just buy time, really, is what happens. And they cause a lot of suffering along the way. But it's like, I feel like I'm in like a relationship with somebody who like every once in a while I wake up in the middle of the night and they have like latex gloves and like, a strangulation cord. And I'm like, are you trying to kill me? I feel like that every day. Like, are you trying to kill us? Oh,
yes.
And then I'm like, but we're still safe for a few days. But then something else like this happens and it's happening more consistently. To where I'm like, are you trying to get us all killed?
Yes.
Yes. The signs are there.
The signs are there. And he doesn't care. He doesn't care about our military. He's shown that. If he cared, they wouldn't have cut 30,000 VA jobs. Plus, there's more than that. I think it's like getting up to 70,000. I'm hearing stories of veterans all the time. They've basically cut all the mental health programs. So people that were getting mental health care that are veterans are now going to get mental health care and there's none. They don't have any access now. And no one would do that actually cared about the military. So shut the fuck up, Republicans. Shut the fuck up. You do not care about the military at all. You do not. And the fact it so irritates me, and this isn't just Trump, this is historically, we send troops into places like we're little pieces on a board, and we're not. We're human beings, and it's ridiculous. And the only way I would never go to war, ever, I would never send people to war unless I myself was willing to go. And willing to send my children, because that's what you're doing. You are sending other people's children into war. So I would never get involved in a war unless I myself was willing to go and I was willing to send my children. And that would be Nazis.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to go into another country and go murder them. Those are also human beings. Those are also people's children. Those are also mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers and people that had lives, that had
sons and daughters. And yeah. Yep. And I think one of our episodes, I was like, I feel like I'm on the Gravitron ride where it keeps spinning, but now I just feel like I'm on a straight acid trip. It went from Graviton to acid like fast. And I just don't understand how somebody who's in charge of an entire country, like with a powerful military, can be so reckless and careless and cruel and apathetic and like just zero regard for. And people calling it Trump's military drives me fucking crazy. It's like that's a trigger for me when I like read that. Oh my God, it drives. No, Trump's military
People.
is ICE.
ICE
The
is
mask.
paramilitary. Yeah.
ICE is Trump's military. They are the masked, no name, no warrant, no due process, no nothing, no training, no conscience, apparently. That's his military. You want to talk about them, go ahead and say Trump's military. But the military that is supposed to protect the United States of America
Is the citizens.
is the
Military.
citizens' military.
Our military.
Because
I pledge my oath to the Constitution, to the people of this country, not to that douchebag and his
It's not to-
cronies.
No, it's not to a president. He doesn't own the military. And that's what, like, when that was starting to be said, and even in headlines, I'm like, this is now a really big problem. Because not only do we have the news, the opinion pieces, whatever you want to call them,
Propaganda
being controlled. Yeah, it's all controlled. So it's now all we get is propaganda and bullshit. It's like the fact that, speaking of spinning, the fact that Kristi Noem went on live national television and said the woman who was murdered in Minnesota was committing an act of domestic terrorism. That's the biggest, most evil, disgusting spin I've ever heard of anything, ever.
And I think
It's like Megyn Kelly saying, they're not 9, they're 10.
I mean, that's it. We're just continually making excuses. Constant excuses.
And this is not just for kind of bad behavior. This is for like murder and pedophilia. And
if you're making excuses for
War
murder
crimes.
and pedophilia and raping and
war
pillaging, war crimes, these are big things. You're not making excuses because someone told a little white lie or they had a bad day and they yelled at someone.
Or they wore a tan suit. Remember the
Yeah.
days of Obama? They
Yeah.
had to make an excuse for a tan suit. Now it's like
Pedophilia, war crimes, murder. These are the excuses we're making now.
kidnapping, disappearing
Kidnap.
people. What does this sound like? Thousands of listeners right now. Celebrity listeners, what does this sound like? This is a little too far. It's a little too far in the wrong direction. This is not just kind of bad behavior. It's inexcusable, and it's, shall we say it, treason.
It
It's
is treason. I mean, it is treason. And now I did see a senator come on because I think Greenland is next.
Yeah.
And
They're pissed.
they're not going to be happy about being liberated from Denmark, where they were receiving free health care and have a really nice life. They're not going to be happy to be part of the United States.
Oh no, I'm looking at Greenland right now going, hello, room for one more. Sorry, wait, 4 more. If there's 4 of us. I wouldn't leave
Yeah.
them behind.
Right.
I don't think they're
Well-
looking over here like,
Yay, America's going to come. No,
it's a fucking dumpster fire.
it is a dumpster fire, and this is what authoritarian governments do. So if you don't want to be called authoritarian Nazi fascists, don't act like them. Then don't act like them. I do see people getting a little more angry, like in the press, and calling people out more and just being like, because I'm tired of Democrats and liberals and whatever. We're always trying to be like proper. I'm like, stop it.
Politically correct. Yeah.
Politically correct. We don't say you're lying. We don't use certain terms. We say like, oh, I don't think that's true. We have this language that we use and it's not catchy and it's time to call people out. You are lying. Why are you lying? Who is paying you? Are you stupid, ignorant, or blatantly lying? And are your pockets being lined with money? And that's how people need to start talking to people that are lying. I'm so tired of it.
Like you're being, just say out loud, you are a racist.
Yeah. That's
You're
right.
only doing this because you're a racist. You're only doing this because you're a white Christian nationalist. You're only doing this. And you know who does a good job of that, I think, in my opinion, is Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, I'm not his biggest fan, you know?
I'm not his
But
biggest fan, but at least he's calling people out.
yeah, and more people need to be doing it. It's true. He
Yeah.
is
I
calling
mean,
credit. I like better. Oh my God, I always forget his name.
he's on the socials with some funny stuff, though, I will say. He's
I
kind of
like
fighting.
He's a senator. Chris Murphy. I like Chris Murphy better. He's been talking shit since the very beginning and telling it how it is. He has been talking. He doesn't have the great social media person that it seems that Gavin Newsom has, but Chris Murphy has been just saying stuff very directly. He votes in a way that I agree with. I was going to say about Greenland is that if you are in the military and you have any part of invading Greenland, that is following illegal orders. You have now followed and executed illegal orders. If you're a general, a captain, or whatever, you have now followed illegal orders and you will be held accountable
Okay. Rightly
because
so.
only Congress has the power to send troops into Greenland. So if you are listening to our president and invading other countries, you're following illegal orders.
Yeah. Remind yourself, it's not Trump's military.
It is not. And this is like to go back to Nazis. I love to just compare
It's,
their playbook. Their playbook,
Yeah.
right? Germany, independent press dismantled, messaging synchronized, dissent framed as treason. Now, media ownership concentrated. Billionaires control narrative flow. We talked about media companies, but we didn't even get into the social media. They're all controlled by Trumpers. You know, they're all controlled by this idea of we have a bunch of crazy power hungry men right now that are controlling everything, and they're going to be controlling the world if we don't stand up. Attacking experts. Germany labeled academics as corrupt elites, doctors and scientists discredited, emotion elevated over evidence. We're listening to influencers right now. This is insane to me. I do not understand why people listen to influencers. That the whole influencer, over the counter, whatever, vitamin, supplemental, that's $1 trillion industry. The pharmaceutical companies, pharmaceuticals isn't even as much money as influencing and over the counter medications and all of this, like
creating your own brand. And my mom is
unregulated.
I listen to my mom all the time because she knows her shit about supplements if you want to go the natural route. But the constant thing that comes out of her mouth is you can't buy a bottle of supplements that looks like what you want on the internet because it comes from who the fuck knows where. And those capsules have nothing in them that it says they do. You know, so you just have to be mindful and understand what you're getting, where it's coming from.
Well, and just know that this whole industry is making tons of money and it's not regulated at all. Whereas at least in the pharmaceutical industry, at least it's regulated. At least like people have to disclose things. You know, you can actually follow money and see where money is coming. You can't, none of that. None of that.
They have to do trials. There's all kinds of stuff. But there was a funny thing that she told me about this guy did I tell you this? He had the stem cell patch on his arm. And I think
No.
we talked about it because he was getting it from like some people that started a company. It's like, put this patch on your arm and it's like stem cells that go into and they were like operating out of a fucking garage in Florida or something. I mean, and what do you think? So you won't do a vaccine. You don't want to take a prescription, but you'll stick a patch on your skin, which is the biggest organ you have.
Or get Botox.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too. All the talk about vaccines and autism, but nobody's talking about the fact that how many women have autistic children that have fake fucking everything. They have been shot up with Botox in their face. They've been injected with who the fuck knows what. They have all this crazy stuff that they do, but it must be the hepatitis B shot they got in the hospital. But that's the problem we're having. It's like nobody wants to change their mind based on evidence and facts. Nobody wants to say, well, maybe it's not the vaccine. Maybe it's not Tylenol. Maybe it's not. Get a grip, man. This is what I mean. It's like teenagers. Like I could show my teenager every piece of evidence on the planet this is bad for you. Like, don't eat this. And she would be like, that's not true, actually. Because
I'm just going to try it that one.
Yeah,
I know.
it's not true. I think
It's
water. I think water is what's causing me not to sleep all night or
yeah,
have
I'm gonna
bloating.
stop drinking water. I'm just gonna drink
I-
Mountain Dew from
It's
here
just
on
like
out.
because it's what she wants to do. And that's the mindset that we're dealing with. It's because it's what you want. It doesn't work for you to do the hard thing. You're gonna choose the path of least resistance. It's about time that mentality changes a little bit. You're gonna have to do the hard thing. You're gonna have to like the boring politicians. You're gonna have to like the people that just go in and govern and don't make a fuss. And it's not a fucking production and it's not a theatrical play and it's not based on emotions. It's the boring. They go in, they do their job, they go
Go watch
home.
Real Housewives, and then you don't have to watch your political system fall apart.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
my method and it works.
yeah,
It works for me.
yeah. And the hard part, especially right now, is just we're not even agreeing on facts. Like we can't. You try to say facts, and people are like, "It's not true." We can't even agree on things that are facts. And that's because they've discredited experts. I could go in and tell you everything I could tell you, but you'll still go right as a nurse. You'll still come into the hospital. You'll still receive care from me. But I tell you something that's going to help you. I heard this actual influencer say something else that I'm going to believe. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
guess what happens? Then you come back. What happened? I tried that thing that influencer said to do.
I drank my own urine. My bad.
It didn't work, actually.
I still have
So
cancer. My mom, she works in the supplement department at a store here, and she tells me all the time people come in and they want me to fix their problems with whatever supplement I can throw at them. And she's like, I have no problem saying what you need is antibiotics. Go to urgent care. What you need is prescription medication. We can't help you here. Sorry,
yeah,
sir, you're actively bleeding. Go to the hospital.
there's
I
just
just
there's things that it's bizarre. But again, like this is what the Nazis did. They got people to stop believing experts. And it's part of the plan. This is like you have to, because if people keep believing experts, then they keep believing in fact and they
Yeah.
keep believing in reality. And so you can't have people believing in facts and reality when experts are trying to help and tell you facts and reality. You want them to believe in whatever propaganda you're spewing.
the hard push right now, which I hate to keep bringing up the ICE shooting, but is we're at the place now where they're like, don't believe your own eyes and ears. Don't believe what you just saw. That
Yep.
didn't happen. This is what happened. That terrorist tried to run somebody over and they had to shoot her in the head. Like, but we saw it. We all saw it. We all saw the same video. We all saw the same thing happen. That first agent tried to illegally open someone's car door. He broke the law first. Therefore, she has every fucking right to flee from that person.
And
It's a
that
guy in
guy,
a fucking snow mask trying to get in her car without
and that guy,
cause.
and then the other guy that was next to him pulled his gun out. And you can see he pulled his gun out when her tire was turned away from him.
Wasn't even, want to sound
Shot her in
vulgar.
the head. Shot her in the head. Shot a woman, a white woman,
Unarmed.
a white unarmed woman in the
Citizen.
head. I think it shows you two things. ICE is Gestapo and it is Trump's military force. Well, in reality, it's actually Stephen Miller's military
Right.
force.
But who's pulling on his puppet strings?
Stephen Miller is pulling on Trump's puppet strings. You think it's Stephen Miller.
Stephen Miller's daddy.
He is daddy. He Trump's daddy for sure.
He's so
Trump's
gross.
going through dementia right now or Alzheimer's. He is cognitively in
He's like, what is a string?
yeah.
Somebody hand me a cheeseburger.
It's Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is actually the one that's going to be in charge of Venezuela. That
Oh,
little
God.
racist prick is going to be in charge in Venezuela. Yeah. It's Stephen Miller and Peter Thiel. I mean, these are the puppet masters, the white Christian nationalists and the complete and utter racists. You have the white Christian nationalist Project 2025 creator, and then you have a complete and utter racist Nazi scumbag that uses Nazi lines in his speeches.
And he just looks so evil.
He looks like an evil
Nazi
character in a
in a World War II movie. He
Yeah.
looks like somebody Brad Pitt would go after.
Or a
whenever.
lady that likes to lure Nazis
Men in
to the woods and shoot them in the head. That's the story I want to hear. I don't want to hear any of these like men Nazi stories. I want to hear, there's so many amazing women's stories about World War II. And
I
those are
know.
the stories I want to hear.
My looks are fading, but I would love to have that job. But one thing I will say, and you know me, I'm not vulgar at all, but what kind of a pussy shoots somebody through a windshield because they're going a mile and a half an hour towards that? That's the thing. You want to call us the snowflakes and call us the, oh, we're sensitive and all this
Right.
stuff. You just shot somebody because they were rolling past you, not even towards you.
I think the other thing it shows is just how
What?
much violence against women has escalated. If you watch a lot of these ICE videos, they're just literally dragging white women a lot of the time, or women of color. I've seen Hispanic, I've seen Asian women, white women now. It's just all women. They're literally dragging them out of their cars on top of pregnant women. It's men exerting their violence against women, and women should be outraged. And I think what women need to do, if you have a man in your life, you start telling them that they need to be outraged too. And they need to start like speaking up. If they're anywhere they are and they're
Yep.
hearing these things, they need to start speaking up. And if they don't, then you withhold sex, because that's how you manipulate men.
And we're assuming that you're giving it to them in the first place with that comment.
And if you're not, then withhold something else. You withhold
Dinner.
until they do what you want. You manipulate them to have your back and to have women's back. I'm serious. Like, I'm not kidding at all. I'm
Oh,
like,
I
I'm
know.
serious. It's called
I mean-
fucking action.
We get accused of being manipulative anyway. So why not
Just do it.
just embrace your powers, ladies?
Just manipulate for good. That's what I say. I see a lot of women manipulate for bad. I say, well, you can also manipulate for good.
For a good cause.
Manipulate for good. A lot of my friends aren't there yet. I don't think they are really paying attention enough to know that this is going on, and it keeps getting accelerated. Okay, we invaded Venezuela. He saw that that was successful. Greenland's next. Guess what? Greenland's next.
Well, and I want to point out too, you're not only are you a nurse, but you've gone to other countries and helped save lives
Yes.
of people who are not American citizens, and that's, to me, that's just another part of who you are that makes you different and understand things in a different way. I don't know how we've gotten to this mentality of you're not a citizen, so your life is meaningless.
One of the things I have such a hard time with is Americans that think that bombing other countries and loss of life in other countries is acceptable at all. And especially when it's just oil companies making money out of it and putting our soldiers and our troops in harm's way.
And
It's
not only bombing, but poisoning, starving,
regime changing.
Yeah, it's crazy, Mindy. It's crazy.
It is. It's like really crazy. And I honestly am racking my brain what works? What is going to work? There has to be ways for us to disrupt. And it's so hard. We do boycott, but we're in a global environment. They're getting money from other places. And then our government is stepping in and funneling money to people that we're boycotting. So I think we need the mass walkouts.
Well,
I mean,
and that works for them because you look at all the things that happen when we're distracted by these big, crazy, wild headlines and stories. Meanwhile, over here on the side and in the quiet, the subsidies are done. So like medical, like insurance, like all these things that affect and the Epstein files. The things though that affect our daily life, like those things, those policies get changed, but we're focusing on these big things like we took over, we kidnapped Dura, you, of course you're going to focus on that. But you don't realize at the same time, simultaneously, that's happening. Your inhaler just went from $30 a month to $560 a month. And you might die of an asthma attack because you have to either buy your inhaler or pay your rent. And that's a direct effect of your daily living, but the focus is not there. And so it's just a huge distractor. And then these the core every day. Go vote. We're lucky we live super close to where we vote, so we never miss it. It's also important to not get super distracted and pay attention to local because of those things. A lot of stuff gets changed on a federal level, but you got to pay attention to local policy too, because they're just sneaking shit in left and right.
I think that it is going to all be local, right? I think that we should all stop paying our taxes. I think that we should make our local governments, or at least in these blue states, I want someone that's going to be in charge right now to protect the citizens of this state. I don't think there's any way around it at this point. They're not going to let us have elections in 2026.
No, because Trump's polling terribly right now. And he knows that if that happens, midterms happen, things don't go the direction, he already knows impeachment. It's a whole
The thing
unless
that
he's sleeping. He might be asleep for all that.
And the thing, and if he dies, it doesn't really matter because
Doesn't matter.
then it's just J.D. Vance who's really worse. So it doesn't matter. And the things that
I'd say in better health condition, but that's questionable too. I'm not sure.
think about the things that they're willing to say out loud and in public, and then just realize that they're saying worse things in private. So they're
Far worse.
openly talking about invading these countries, taking their natural resources. They're openly, AI guys are openly talking about like utilizing AI for surveillance. They're openly talking about that they want these little kingdoms. They openly say that AI will be the death of us all, but there'll be some really great companies before that happens. They have God complexes. That's the stuff they openly say. If you watch some of these guys talk, they openly say things that you're aghast. Oh, imagine what they're saying to each other behind the scenes.
Well, and I thought Republicans were all about less government overreach, they're all about freedom and this and that, and they want their guns and but yet here they are, the supporters of the person who wants you to have no freedoms. And you think just because you voted for him, he's going to let you live how you want?
Or you think you have Mar-a-Lago face, so you're in the club?
Yeah. I mean, it's distraction, and distraction is the death of individual liberties. I think right now you got to pay attention.
You got to pay attention. And it's beyond I think you need to call and demand from your Congress people and senators right now. Call and demand. We need leadership. We need to not stay in these lines anymore. We are outside of we need to stay in the lines. We need to follow the rules. We need to not follow the rules. I want to see every congressperson, every senator calling him out openly and not just on social media. I want to see Congress people actually doing things, getting in the faces of Republican Congress people and yelling at them. I want Democrats going into their areas where their constituents are and telling them the truth and telling them you are not represented. You are not being represented by your person. All of them need to be working their asses right now, working so hard right now and being leaders. That's what
they should be, because they're going to be the first to go.
They're going to be part of the hangings.
They've talked about wanting to murder people. Political rivals are not safe. So they should be the first ones fighting against this and rallying the people behind them to put up a big obstacle in their way, slow it down, at least, if anything.
Just slow it down so that we can actually try to get some civility back and try to get some of the lawlessness gone. I want our public officials to be talking to military members.
Well, if you see I see military members that have a conscience and understand what the military is and what its job is. I see a lot of them making videos and talking out and trying to reach out on social media platforms, but it's not enough.
No.
But at least it's something to where you understand that there is a big portion of, and it's a lot of veterans, but there are active military members too, but it's like at least there's somebody that's been there, done that can say this is not how it's supposed to be.
Well, and
this is not what we do.
you don't have to have all the ideas as a leader. This is one of the things when I called my congressperson, I was talking to the young lady and saying, look, we don't expect him to have all the ideas. What I expect from him is that he gets us together, that he holds meetings where we can come up with our own ideas. I don't expect him to have ideas. He got into Congress. He didn't expect that he was going to be going through this type of radical change into authoritarianism and fascism. I doubt it. I doubt now these people coming in and trying to run for Congress and for Senate, now they are.
Well, they saw the first term. They had a 4-year break. It's kind of hard to believe they didn't see it coming, but okay. I'll roll with that.
Like, to this degree, right? People didn't think he was in the Epstein files. I hear so many people be like, I don't know why he's not releasing the Epstein files. Because he's in them. Are you fucking stupid? You think he cares? Well, he has friends. He doesn't care about people. When has he ever shown you that he cares about people?
Why he didn't release his tax information either. Why do you think that is?
He's not a caring human being. He's not sitting there like, oh, I don't want my friends to get hurt. No, he doesn't want himself. He's a selfish, narcissistic human being that only thinks about himself.
He's not honest.
He's a liar. He has neurocognitive decline, if it's Alzheimer's or dementia. I don't know. I haven't seen the MRI. I'd like it to be released. But this is what we need to demand, that our leaders start representing us in a way that's actually going to help this. And we need to stop. We need to get out of our own way. There's so many organizations. Indivisible's having a march. Women's March is having a march. Well, let's coordinate. We need to coordinate. We need to get together. And then we need to come up with ways to be incredibly disruptive.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. Because I don't know. I've racked my brain. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how to hit back.
I'm sure there are people out there that do, though. So that's why organizing is important.
And having ideas. And, well, I've seen people do this and this is what's working. I feel like we're not really doing any of that.
There's strength in numbers. So I feel like I'm beating my head against the wall.
Yeah.
But it works for that side. You say it enough, people start to listen.
Because we've lost all of our media outlets, right? There's no real way to get a message across in mainstream. And we've really lost a lot of social media because the algorithms aren't really made for our messaging.
No, some of the shit that I see on mine, I'm like, who do you think I am?
Yeah, they're trying to
watch this. Although there is a lot of ADHD stuff that comes across my phone. I'm like, okay, I know I have it.
Yeah.
Are you watching me try to do laundry, cell phone? I can recognize I have ADHD, not just because it's trending right now. It's legit. I get it. All right.
It's super, super scary. I believe our current government no longer cares about ordinary people, especially the poor, the sick, the elderly, the immigrants, and the people of color. And you can see it in their actions, attacking healthcare, the VA, rolling back environmental protections, gutting public education, stripping away basic supports while protecting corporations and the wealthy. At the same time, the most powerful people and companies in the world are pouring money into artificial intelligence with the clear goal of replacing human labor and concentrating control and wealth at the top, like Sam Altman, Jeff Bezos, the founders and leadership of Google, the founders and leadership of Meta, the people behind Planetaire, especially Peter Thiel, and CEO Alex Karp. And if you don't know who they are, look them up and watch their videos. They're sycophants whose vision of data, surveillance, and power is deeply unsettling. The message this system sends is simple. Human well-being comes second to money, power, and control. Globally, this is happening alongside a dangerous shift toward competing spheres of influence, where the U.S., Russia, China, Israel, and the Saudis each try to dominate parts of the world, while corporations and governments increasingly merge their interests. We're watching a world from where technology, military force, and wealth decide everything. Not community, not dignity, not happiness, not a better life for our neighbors. It feels like our country's throwing away its moral core for profit and power alone, creating a future built for elites while everyone else becomes disposable. And that is what truly terrifies me. Not one villain, not one company, but a whole system that is slowly deciding that some lives matter less. And that's you if you're listening, because I seriously doubt you're one of these billionaires.
Do you think there's a billionaire listening?
I don't.
Well, if you're listening, billionaire, fuck you. Unless you're good. Use your money for good if you're not a bad one.
Just realize what's happening. I don't, and it's hard because I wish I could say, we all need to be doing this. And I don't know. I think do something every day. Call your congressperson right now and your senator every day right now. Do it.
Or email
And
them.
you can email them too. And go to town halls. If they're having them, go to town halls. They need to show up. They need to be the leaders we need them to be right now. And if they're not going to be, then step out of the way.
Yeah, I think there's a level of fear. Like, I know that there's Democrats in the state I live that are like, if I go to a town hall meeting and I say something somebody doesn't like, they're going to pull me out by my feet. And that happened in Coeur d'Alene. And it is scary. But at the same time, it makes a lot of noise and nobody wants anybody to get hurt. Nobody wants violence. But it's going to be so much worse if your fear makes you sit back.
Well, and they're really trying to instill as much fear as they can into it right now. That's the whole thing, is that they want us to be afraid so that we do nothing, so that we sit by idly.
You don't talk about hanging your political rivals because you want them to feel cozy.
No.
There's a reason behind it.
You don't talk about using your own military against civilians because you want them to feel safe and warm and fuzzy inside.
And free to speak their minds.
Yeah.
These conversations help me. I mean, it fires me up. The first thing I did this morning was I reached out to somebody that I know locally that organizes a lot of the protests and helps with all that stuff. And the first text I sent out this morning at 7 a.m. was, okay, when's the protest against ICE happening? What do you need help with? Let me know, because it needs to happen here. Well, it's better than nothing. And at least it fills me with a little bit of like, okay, there's that's happening.
If we all did something like that, if we all joined a group, Indivisible, Women's March, I've joined them all.
I'm actually thrilled because we've hardly had any snow, and it's been it's the second hottest year on record. And it was like spring we went out in December, like early December, and I was like, this can't be good for anything or anyone. We went to Helena, Montana for Christmas, and we were there 3 years ago. And the last time we were there, it was negative 37 degrees below zero. I went to Helena this Christmas and it was 45. That's a 70, 80 degree swing. If you don't think climate change is real, it's just hotter out. It's about weather extremes. That's pretty fucking extreme in 3 years.
And it doesn't matter. This is the other thing. It's like people don't want to think that we're causing the problem. It's okay. We are causing the problem. Let's just talk about fixing it. It's okay that you're causing the problem, but let's just have a conversation.
Don't get defensive. Don't get defensive.
It's humans. Like, we have proven.
Whose fault is it? The dead penguins? Did they do it?
Is it the polar bears? Is it the ice caps that are melting? Is that whose fault? We have, without a doubt, proven that humans are the cause of the climate change.
It was the Titanic's fault, the ship itself, when it hit that iceberg. Like, not us.
Yeah,
or
yes,
not our generation. That's the other thing I hear too. It's like, who fucking cares?
It doesn't matter. Who cares? We are doing it. We're the cause. It's accelerated. And there's other things that, yes, have done things in the past.
Well,
volcanoes and...
You realize, like, you're 30 years old, so no, you're not responsible for slavery. However,
it happened.
It still happened. You're white. Just recognize it. That's it. Nobody's blaming you for it. We're just saying
it existed and you have white privilege. Don't take it personally. Don't worry about it.
No, you didn't destroy the planet, but can we talk about it at least? That's we're not the sensitive side. The left is not the sensitive side. If you want to talk about it,
they're not.
We're inclusive. Like, we had a conversation at Christmas with some family members that don't necessarily think like we do. And there was a comment that was made that was like, we're not allowed to say Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. We just have to say the Scouts. And I'm like, you're a grown adult. You can say whatever you want to say. No one's
Yeah.
not allowing you to do anything. You're 50 years old or whatever. Like, do whatever you say, whatever you want. If a group decides to be inclusive, that doesn't exclude you. That doesn't mean that you can't say this or you can't say that.
It
Say
also
whatever you
sounds
want.
like if that's what you actually think, you just bought into the propaganda machine. You were told that by where? By what news outlet just told you that liberals say you can't say Boy Scouts anymore? There are words that you shouldn't use. There's an R word you shouldn't use. There's an N word you shouldn't use. They're offensive to other people. Boy Scout is not offensive. Just like don't be stupid.
Or exercise your free will. Are you in the Boy Scouts?
Is
If
it
you're
personal?
not, if you're not, then don't worry about it. Still call it the Boy Scouts when it comes up in conversation. Because I sure do talk about the Boy Scouts a lot. But I was just like, that's a focus right now. You're upset about that, but you're not upset about all
Shooting
this
a
other
woman?
shit that's
I know. It's so bizarre to me. I'm like, what are you what do you know what's actually happening in the world right now? They don't. And you bring up 2025, they're like, what? What's that? Never heard of it.
January 6th. Huh? What happened then? I
That-
don't remember.
What happened on January 6th? We just
Patriotism.
invaded Venezuela. No, we liberated Venezuela. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you watching? What are you watching? It's propaganda.
And again, there can be people that are happy about a bad person not being in charge.
But that's not what we need to be doing as a country.
If that was the goal to liberate them, it would have gone through proper channels and it would have been done in a very different way. So let's be real. Don't stick your head in the sand.
Call a spade a spade.
Just go to the beach and enjoy the sun. Stop being a fucking idiot.
I know.
That was harsh. Sometimes I just hear things and I'm like, you're upset about that while you're in your mansion? I feel so bad for you that you are.
And that you're good people, that we know you and you're good people. And this is what you're thinking and concerned with.
You think you're being like, what, censored? I don't even know how to comprehend somebody with that much privilege. You have such a good life and you still feel like these are the issues that you should be focused on. A transgender person is the problem. Bathrooms are the issue.
I know. It's so
I think they
bizarre.
would have shit themselves if I would have brought up the Epstein files or anything, or Venezuela or anything that's actually like, I remember like a thing that was a problem was like no foreign wars. That was a big deal. And now all of a sudden it's like, are we talking about that? Is anybody still pissed about that? Anybody?
And can we just have a conversation about facts? And that's the thing. If I'm going to talk to any of these people, I'm like, before we get into talking about this, which I'm happy to do, we need to agree on a set of facts. So let's agree on a set of facts. Facts are things that are real, that we both agree on, that are real and actual. A real, actual fact.
Yeah, you can't though. They get their facts from Fox.
I know, but I'm like, let's agree. He was elected on the basis of not going in and being really concerned about foreign events and countries and starting wars. That was something that
He ran
on it. That I won't be involved in invading or supporting or spending time or spending money or spending resources, taxpayer dollars, in other countries starting wars. That's something he specifically said. If you vote for a Democrat, you're voting for war. You're voting for foreign wars. Those are comments that have come out of his mouth. Can we just agree? Is that a fact? Let's write that fact down. This is something we both agreed on. Second fact.
Yeah.
There are no drugs coming out of Venezuela into the United States of America. This is a fact. There may be cocaine, there may be some drugs, but that's not where we get the majority of our drugs. We don't get fentanyl from there. We don't get ketamine. These are facts. I've spoken to DEA agents. You can look it up. Can we agree on this fact? This is a fact. Can we agree on it? Okay, agreed. Fact. We have bombed boats without due process. We don't know if these guys have drugs on their boats. In fact, it has been cleared up that one boat was actually a boat of fishermen. Can we agree on that fact? Write it down. That's another fact. Okay, we got some facts that we can
Yeah.
agree on because we can have a conversation. You can be okay with what we just did. That's fine. What I don't want to hear is bullshit propaganda. I want to talk about the actual facts and have a conversation
And
about the facts.
excuses is it's all excuses. Like I tried to bring up the immigration thing and I was just like, it was like a very mild conversation, but I was like, this is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
And it spun into this thing of like, we need to take care of American citizens first. And my question
we're
is,
not
well,
talking
do you think that
that.
we're taking care of American citizens first?
How can you say that when we're rolling back laws, environmental laws that are affecting our water, land, and air? How could you say that when we're cutting VA jobs? How can you say that? This is really scary times, but you can't not do anything.
Yeah. We're not totally doomed. We can keep a positive mindset. It's
I do
tough
believe that we
sometimes.
can completely come out of this and completely come out for the better, but the sooner we act, like
Yeah.
when just with anything, if you leave it, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it. And it gets worse. Like the rats in my house.
But
I need to tell them. I need to tell them. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. They were getting so bold,
Yeah.
all like more and more. And there's more of them because they're procreating. So infestation. I hear them everywhere. And
So
that's what it is.
take this lesson from Mindy's rats. Because right now, the guys that came out and didn't listen to you the first 2 times, that's what we have going on making the decisions. Like,
Exactly.
let's put some trust and some focus on people who are going to listen to the collective, to the many, to the needs.
And get together as much as we can to cultivate ideas.
Yeah.
We
Totally.
need to all be together with like-minded people, whether it's on Zoom, whether it's physically together, but we need to be talking about ideas and talking about how we're going to fight this because we're pretty close to the violence stage of the
And it's
dystopian.
talking and getting together and having these it's good for your mental health. It's good for your motivation. Even though you talk about some tough topics and some things that are going on right now that are really terrible, it's good to not feel isolated. It's
And
important.
it really does spark idea and having conversations with people. And then somebody comes up with an idea. It's like, "Oh, that's a good idea. What if we did this too?" Just like, again, my rat conversation, the guy that believed me and
Yeah.
treated me like an equal.
Worked
We
out for the
got
best.
that task done. And guess what? No more rats. I haven't
Yeah.
seen any evidence of any rats in my house right now.
Well, there you go.
And
There
we
you
were
have it.
collaborating. We were collaborating together to get that job done.
Yeah. I love it.
All right. Thanks for coming on again, Andy,
Thanks for having me.
my substitute co-host.
I love it. It's been fun. If you need
Yeah.
me again, I'm here.
Yeah. This has been another episode of She the People. Stay strong, stay grounded, and keep fighting. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks.
Okay. Tell everyone hi.
I will.
Okay. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.